Do you have a story to share with the world? Of course you do. We all have stories to share. An Anchor podcast allows you to share your interests in a way that connects to others all across the globe. If you have been considering starting your own podcast and don't know where to begin, Anchor makes it easy to record, edit, and publish with the click of a button. You can even add music. Whether it's crime dramas, self improvement, paranormal adventures, or tips about parenting, you too can share your unique imprint on the world. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. You've got this. I believe in you. Welcome to the Existential Empath Podcast. My name is Tanya, and I am an intuitive empath. My intention is to share valuable tools and techniques that I have learned so you can tap into your own inner healer naturally and intuitively. Welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day or evening whenever you're deciding to listen and tune in. I thought we could discuss the stories that we tell ourselves, the stories that we tell ourselves and tell others, how we portray or represent ourselves in our own thoughts and in the minds of not only ourselves, but others. When we are continuing to tell a certain story, we're actually creating a vibrational frequency, a frequency that ripples out into the universe. And through the law of attraction, when we think a thought, it's electric. And when we apply an emotion to that, it's actually magnetic. And when we speak that out to someone else or out into the universe, it actually amplifies that. So if we are stuck on certain stories and we're unhappy in our lives and we continue to say the same story of our life over and over and over again, whether it be around health or wealth or maybe our love life, what happens is we're actually creating our own reality around that particular story. So in the example of health, if we continue to wake up every single day and say, I am in pain, I am suffering, I have this disease, I have this ailment, and you're continuing to say that or to think those thoughts, and you're reliving that story over and over and over, whether it be in your mind or you're telling friends and family or coworkers that this is who I am, what you're actually doing is you're sending that frequency or that vibration out into the universe and you are resonating with that. So, what the universe is doing is it's saying, okay, you are now saying who you are, and I will bring more of that into your experience. The words I am are some of the most powerful words that we can say. And when we say I am, when we put the thought and the emotion behind it, it can be extremely powerful. So you're probably asking, well, the doctor diagnosed me with this, or I went through all these tests and this is what I found out. And I can completely relate to where you're coming from because these were things that I would see working in the hospital setting. I would see families really holding on to every single word that came out of a physician's mouth. And there are actual studies that show that people will listen and believe what comes out of someone's mouth if they are wearing a white jacket or a white lab coat versus someone who may just be wearing street clothes. So, part of the reason why we believe these things is because we have been programmed by a society to believe that when someone who is in a physician standing or a nurse or someone who's in the healthcare industry that appears to have expertise in a certain area shares information with us, that we can now take that on as a belief. But we can change those beliefs, we can change those patterns, and through our own thoughts, emotions, and what we tell ourselves and what we tell others in the universe, we can shift that perception of ourselves. So, through the basic understanding of just shifting our thoughts from I am in pain and I am suffering, shifting them to I have a strong and healthy body, My mind is clear and focused. I have an abundance of energy. My body is balanced and thriving. I am happy and healthy, both physically and mentally. Changing your thoughts from the I am in pain to I am healthy and happy, both physically and mentally. At first, it may be difficult for you to shift that thought because you've created momentum for so long in the I am in pain and suffering department that it's almost like your car is driving 80 miles per hour and now you're trying to switch in one direction and now you're trying to switch it going to the other direction. You have to slow down first, stop the vehicle, and then turn it around. So it is going to take some time for your subconscious thoughts and your subconscious mind to actually begin to shift the momentum into another direction. Which, once your subconscious thoughts kick in, then your physical body will actually kick in. And then your body will say, oh, I'm not in pain anymore and I am healthy. But it is going to take some time for you to do that. So, following those affirmations, really just diving in to experiencing things that make you happy and bring you joy. And I know I have been in those situations where I've been in deep, deep pain, or I have been working through something. And it's very difficult when you're in pain to shift your thoughts and move about freely when you are really struggling. And I have been there. I can completely empathize with any of you if you are in this particular situation. But changing your thought pattern is one of the best things that you can do first. All right. That's the first step in moving through that pain and suffering. Now, maybe you're in a situation where you're stagnant in your career or you're having a difficult time receiving abundance in your life, or there's just not a steady flow of money. Journaling your thoughts on a regular basis to really sit back and take a look at, well, where are my thoughts coming from? What were my parents' thoughts and ideas around money? I know when I grew up, it was, you know, dad was working full time and mom was staying home, with me and my sister. And we didn't have a lot. We did not have a lot. And I know there were times when my sister and I would ask for something and mom or dad would say, "Well, we just don't have the money for that." So, between the time that we're born and roughly the age, 6, 7, or 8, we're in what's called a theta brainwave state. So, we're in our observatory mode in those times of our life, in those years of our life. And we are actually processing and taking in that information. So, taking a look at what were the thoughts and belief patterns of our parents, maybe even our grandparents, potentially even our teachers, and is that something that we are now still carrying in our adult life? We have to work really, really hard in order to receive money. Money does not flow easily, to you unless you work really hard for it. Um, Money is the root of all evil. These are just some statements or some belief systems, which I call BS, right? Belief systems that we can pick up when we are young. And if we don't consciously catch ourselves in those subconscious thoughts, we don't really realize that that is the reason why we may be stuck or we might not be receiving money. Maybe you feel you're not worthy of receiving money. I know I've worked with a few clients that, they were completely lined up to receive abundance in their life, but they had a fear of receiving too much money. And what were they going to do with that, or what would people around them think, or did they feel like they would be pressured to have to give it away to others? And so clearing those basic subconscious patterns can really help open up the flow of abundance in your life. So changing once you catch yourself in those thought patterns, and you understand what they are, through journaling or just through catching yourself, thinking those thoughts or even saying them. I'm broke. Those are things that I hear a lot. People say, I'm broke. I have no cash. I don't have enough money to do that. Um, my husband won't give me any money. I can't afford that. Those are some subconscious thoughts or patterns that we can get stuck in. So just changing our subconscious thoughts and mindset around that to a more positive statement can shift the energy in our favor. Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. Wealth pours into my life effortlessly. I always receive money with ease and grace. I spend money with gratitude and love. And one area that's really helped me is understanding that the universal flow of giving and receiving is important in order for us to be in alignment or be in the vortex, so to speak, of receiving that financial abundance in our life. So many people will take their money and hoard it and put it in savings and not touch it. And what that does is it blocks that steady flow of energy. The universal flow is supposed to be when you give, you receive, and when you receive, you give. It's like a circle, it's cyclical. So if you get stuck in a pattern where you're like, I'm not making any money, well, ask yourself, when was the last time that you gave some money to someone? Or when was the last time that uh, were able to maybe give something to help yourself heal? Like I notice sometimes when there's an area in my life that I need to work on, and I will give money to another healer, and then boom, I get clients within hours, within 24 hours. And so it's like opening up that flow of energy of giving and receiving. Do you have a block in receiving? Is there, I think a lot of empaths have this where we feel as if we have to give, 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 and then we get so frustrated because we're not receiving. But are we actually opening up our own energetic channels to allow ourselves to receive? Or do we feel guilty about receiving? I know that's an area that people really struggle with. They have a lot of guilt and shame around receiving. I know for me, for many years, uh, growing up and seeing my parents give, give, give. And then when someone would offer something to them, they would say, no, no, we don't need that, or we're okay. And so as a child, I picked that up and took on that subconscious pattern. And so then it made it difficult for me. And then what happened is I would just burn myself out. I would, continue to give, give, give. And then I would question, why is no one giving to me? But it was my own energetic field that was blocking them from giving to me. The more times that you say, no, I don't need that, or no, I don't need help, the universe says, okay, then you don't need help. And so then people stop coming into your life offering those things to you because you have created an energetic or a subconscious block in that area. And this can go, along with love too. If you're really struggling to find that perfect someone in your life, are you maybe you're the type of person that gives a lot in a relationship but you don't receive. Try to ask yourself, when did this pattern start? Was this something that I learned from my parents, or was it something that I may have picked up, later on in my life? Do I look back at my marriage, and I was extremely independent woman. And anytime my husband would offer to help or assist me in something, I would say no, because I felt like if I can't, I can do it myself. This is me proving to myself that I can do it myself. And over time, that just continued to emasculate him. And he didn't want to offer his help anymore because he knew I was just going to say no and I was going to do it myself. But as our marriage went on, I got more and more frustrated and resentful because I felt like I was doing everything. I was doing it all. I was doing the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, the lawn work, all of it. But I created that reality for myself because in the beginning of our marriage, he was offering to do those things. And I was being the independent woman that I was, still am, but I understand now that there's an importance between the balance of giving and receiving. Had I known that back then, I think our relationship would have been a lot different. But when it comes to love, we want to make sure that we are opening ourselves up to receiving that love and abundance that we so deserve. And some affirmations that you can, you know, learn to reprogram your subconscious mind. I accept and approve of myself. I think oftentimes we feel unworthy of that love. We may put up a block out of fear of someone getting too close or someone getting in and hurting us. Trust is a big one when it comes to love. If you've been burned many, many, many times, it's really difficult to open up your heart, and we can create a heart wall. And I'm going to actually do a podcast specifically about empaths and love and how we can block that love that we are so wanting to receive. So I am surrounded by love and prosperity. And I think I am surrounded by loving support from friends and family. I know for me, support is a big one. And I will feel that in my lower back. I know when I'm having those subconscious beliefs because I can feel it in my body and the lower back. You really can tune into that when you're having pain in your lower back. It's oftentimes you feel unsupported financially or just unsupported in general from the people in your life that you feel may need there to be supported by. I spread love to those around me, and it returns in abundance. And abundance can be health, wealth, love, well being, connections, opportunities. Abundance really can be anything, it doesn't have to be financial. I am worthy of receiving love. And that's a big one. Many of us don't think that we are worthy of receiving love because maybe there was a time in our life when we were small children and something happened and we felt unworthy and we locked that subconscious pattern in. And that created a lot of belief systems, BS, right, around who we felt that we were, who we feel that we are now as an adult. So when it's not all just about positive thinking, it's about reprogramming the mind and consciously understanding where these patterns started and catching yourself in these patterns and taking conscious steps to change, to reprogram the subconscious mind. Because once you catch yourself in it, then what you're doing is you're bringing it from the subconscious mind to the conscious mind. And once it's in the conscious mind, that's when you can make the changes. That's when you can shift the energy. See, roughly 90% of our actions and our thoughts come from our subconscious mind. It's kind of the autopilot running in the background. And 10% is that conscious mind. Those are our conscious thoughts. And when we can bring those subconscious patterns to the surface and really dive deep into them and have a better understanding of where they came from, then we can shift them. And once you shift that energy, you'll begin to realize that once you shift the internal, the external will change too. And it's all energy, it's all frequency, vibration, and energy. So understanding how our internal energy ripples out and creates our external energy can make a huge impact on your life, and you can have huge shifts. All that I need is drawn to me. My success is for certain. I can achieve greatness in my life. I attract all good things to me. My potential is limitless. We often limit ourselves through our belief systems and our patterns. And then that holds us back. It keeps us in a stagnant state and it doesn't allow us to move forward. And it can keep us anchored or tethered to our past. That's why it's so important for us to take a look at the story that we're telling ourselves and that we're telling others. So we can shift that narrative. We can change that dialogue. And when we do, we become a new version of ourselves. And that in itself is so exciting. It's so exciting. I mean, if you want to tell the same story your whole life from the time you were born until you're 80 years old. How exciting is that? But if you tell these different stories throughout your life and you see yourself shifting and changing like chapters in a book, or even, you've got one book from the time you're born to 20, and then you rewrite another book from 21 to 35, and then you decide to rewrite another book from 36 to, 54. That's exciting. That's living life. That's really embracing the excitement of what it is to be human, to be being in your own presence, to be in that I am. So I hope some of this information was helpful to you. I encourage you to sit back and just really examine your story. What story are you telling yourself? Whether it just be in your mind's eye or if it's actually what you're verbalizing. What are you amplifying out into the universe? And how is that boomeranging back to you? And is there things that you need to change? Are there statements that you're making that aren't so positive? Are they self-sabotaging? Are they unworthy statements? Take a look at those statements and how can you fix them? How can you turn them around to be more positive, to be more self-empowering, to create a better self-image of yourself? I am grateful for a wonderful and new day. I am grateful for all that I have. I am grateful for all that is coming to me. I am grateful for each and every one of you listeners out there. You can be the best version of yourselves. You've just got to go internally. Take a look at yourself from the inside. Make some tweaks, make some shifts and some changes. And I promise you, you will begin to notice your external reality will change. You deserve to navigate your life as an empath in alignment with health, happiness, and abundance. To learn more about the services that I provide, including Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis, EFT tapping, and the Emotion Code, visit my website at www.thesoulcafe.org.